2021 Porsche Cayenne Coupe. We are with the specific GTS trim. Welcome back, V8. We've missed you. So power-wise, it is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 453 horsepower, 457 pound-feet of torque, all through an 8-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, and the Cayenne Coupe is just explosively fast. It is got all of the driving characteristics that makes a Porsche, but it just happens to be on their biggest offering. And yes, there is the regular Cayenne, which has the more traditional body shape, and the Coupe, it's not for everybody. I will fully say that right out of the gate. And there's very few competitors. So there's the BMW X6, the Audi Q8, Mercedes GLE Coupe. But I think out of those four, I like the way that the Cayenne Coupe looks the best. It's more of a natural look for me. It doesn't kind of just fall off like the X6 does. There's a nice design line along the roof, and then it slowly tapers off instead of it being such a sharp drop. So with that said, let's do driving dynamics. Let's look at the outside, then we'll look at the inside, and then we'll wrap up the video. So I've had a lovely, delightful, exhilarating week driving this. Yes, it's very, very performance oriented, but you can still run it as a daily driver, and I think that's what the majority, the vast majority for that matter, of people will do with the Cayenne Coupe. And yes, there are a lot of upgrades to the way Porsche Canada has spec'd this vehicle. For example, it's got the Vectoring Control Plus, it's got the carbon fiber roof. But as a regular daily driver, if you don't want all those options, it's still a really good option if you want something in the performance crossover / SUV market. So for getting on highways, it's so quick and it's precise, and cornering and handling around city streets is also done with with absolute ease. For a vehicle this size, I was surprised at the fraction of amount of body roll that I experienced, and I'm not taking turns at 70 or 80 on the city in the city streets, but just the way regular roads are laid out and engineered and designed. And the same thing for higher speeds. So if you're on a highway and you're heading, let's say, westbound, and then the highway banks 90 degrees to the left to go south, again, there's very minimal body roll, always in control. Now, interesting though, this does have Porsche's optional rear axle steering, so that makes it great in tighter corners. If you're towing anything, or if you just need to have a little more control with a little less real estate, so to speak. Steering feel is surprisingly light for a vehicle that's got this much power behind it, and there's a really, really good balance between the linear power just going in a straight line, doing twists and turns and bends. But again, as a daily driver, which is what the majority of drivers will be with the Cayenne Coupe GTS, it's really comfortable, and it's not quite the wolf in sheep's clothing, because you could feel all the power under your right foot, even going from 0 to 50, 0 to 60 off of a stop sign or a stop light. It's really well executed. With great power comes a great responsibility to stop the vehicle in a very quick and timely manner. So what Porsche has done here is, on the front brakes, it's a 6-piston system, and on the rear, it is a 4-piston system. So again, just all the power. I had no issues stopping, and I've always been in control when I'm stopping. There's no kind of swinging out. There's no stuttering before it grabs. You put your foot down, the pads grab onto the rotors real quick, and you're stopped as fast as absolutely possible. So as far as driving dynamics go, I don't have any irks. There's nothing I'd change. And yes, you've got your drive modes: normal, sport, sport plus, and individual. Depends what you want to do. I imagine the majority of people for day-to-day life are going to hang out in normal, maybe individual. And I think if you're doing a cottage run, or if you are doing something in the back roads in rural areas, you pop it into sport plus. I'm going to show you just how fast the Cayenne Coupe GTS is. No launch control, no mucking around with different modes. It's in normal my right foot's on the brake and it's going to go to the gas pedal, and then that's going to be it. No 2 feet, none of that. So here it goes. There it is. It's it's going to be sad when I have to give this back to Porsche Canada. It really is. Yes, you have sport paddles. And I know I'm spending a little more time than usual on the driving dynamics, but that's really the star of the show here. And when I get to the inside, it's going to be typical Porsche. Layouts are going to be the same. And same thing with the exterior, except for the sloping roofline at the rear. But I really want to focus on the driving dynamics here. Sport Plus really is taking advantage of everything the Cayenne Coupe GTS has to offer, and how the engine's mapped out. And before I get to that, because I'll do the same thing in Sport Plus mode, it's got such sweet sounds out of the exhaust, and it is just, it's everything a performance vehicle should be. Never mind a performance not full size, but performance SUV that just happens to be Porsche's largest offering. So I'm going to pop it into Sport Plus. Give me one sec. So I'm not sure if you could hear the engine just came up a little bit on the loudness side. So again, nothing moving, dead stop, and you just take a listen and take a look. Okay. It really is going to be sad when I give this back later on today. Quick look around the outside. So it's still a Cayenne, but it is not the regular size, as I touched on in the beginning of the video. What I like about it, and the big perk for me, is yes, it's visually clear that this is a coupe because of the sloping lines at the rear. But I like how Porsche didn't make it such a, I call it the fall off a cliff design line, where it's just so obvious, and it doesn't look like it's just two different pieces slapped together. I got the 4-point headlights, LED up front, nice clean body lines along the side. Looking at them head on, you can't really tell the difference between the coupe and the regular Cayenne, but it's, you know, because it's all the design lines that have been changed in the rear. But overall, it's a good look. Now, if you are towing anything with this, just be a little careful, because the exhausts are centered and they are not on the outsides of the rear. So just something to keep in mind with that. Love the color carmine red. It just pops. It looks absolutely beautiful. If I were to get a Porsche Cayenne Coupe GTS, I would go black, because I have this thing for black cars, and almost all the cars I've owned have been black. But the carmine red just looks so sharp. Jump into the world of fuel consumption, and we'll do it in liters per 100 kilometers with the miles per gallon below. I did some digging into my analytics, and I've got a surprisingly high number of American viewers, so thank you, neighbors to the south, for watching and supporting me. So again, 90-liter fuel tank, premium fuel, 15.24 liters per 100 kilometers in the city. We're at 12.4 on the highway, and blended total comes out to 14 even. It's a twin turbo V8. You really shouldn't be looking at fuel consumption as a deciding factor. Like, let's just call it what it is. If I'm looking at buying this, not that I don't care about fuel consumption, like, I'll take a peek at it or maybe a glance at it, but in no way is it going to make a difference to me whether I move forward with my decision to buy this or buy lease finance, whatever it is, this or not. Onto the inside we go. So starting with the dashboard, you have your analog dial in the middle, and there's a little small screen at the bottom which shows you your gear and your speed. To the left of it, you have 2 digital gauges, and to the right of it, you also have 2 digital gauges as well. All sorts of information from your G-force to your consumption, and a bunch of other things. Now, the cool thing, may not be a new thing for a lot of you, but if you are new to the Porsche brand, the right one can be configured so that the 2 separate digital dials become one, and that becomes your map. So if you're so interested in doing that, definitely an option there. It does have the Alcantara package. Was a little weird with Alcantara as a steering wheel over the last couple of years, but the more vehicles I drive that have them in it, it feels smooth now. It just felt a little peculiar. Anything new takes a little bit of getting used to. We'll always like that Porsche has their drive modes right on the wheel, and so normal, sport, sport plus, and individual. And if you push the little button right in the middle, you get 20 seconds of raw power, just a burst to get you out of a collision situation or whatever it happens to be. Over to the right, we have our infotainment system, large, clear, easy to read, easy to navigate, easy to pull your information out of. My irk here is that the auto start stop is controlled through the infotainment system, as opposed to it being on the steering wheel to the left of the steering wheel or a button in the center stack here. I know it's a two-touch procedure. You hit car and then you hit start stop, but I would rather have just one thing. Deal breaker? No. Inconvenience? Sure. Events below that, and you get all of your shortcut buttons at the top of your center console, and the gear shift, nice, big, but not intrusively large. Haptic touch, little bit of time to get used to. Again, I have these cars for a week. If you are driving this, chances are at the shortest case scenario, you've got it for a 2-year lease. So you'll have lots of time to figure out your muscle memory and just know where things are without even looking at items. Don't like the carbon fiber roof because it makes it really dark in the cabin, because it is also a black headliner. And you can see in front of me, there's all sorts of light, and behind me, it kind of just tapers off. Sure, it looks cool for lighting, for a photographer or videographer, but just as far as letting lots of light in the cabin, I would forego the carbon fiber roof and grab a sunroof. Moving to the rear seats, you don't really lose a lot of headroom, because even though it's a coupe, Porsche has still managed to keep the integrity of the rear seats, so your rear passengers don't really have to crouch or slouch down to be able to fit comfortably in here. Trunk space, fairly generous, and with the trunk comes the spoiler, and you can automatically activate or deactivate it or deploy it or not. It's going to wrap it up for the 2021 Porsche Cayenne Coupe GTS. That's a lot of words. If you're looking for something in the luxury crossover / SUV market that has plenty of power, and it has functionality, and that really, really cool, strong V8, this is absolutely something that should be on your test drive list. If you've got any questions on the vehicle, let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to get you answers as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate the support, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to tell somebody about the channel who you think might be interested in what I do. Until the next video, be well, be healthy, be safe.